Hello and welcome back to Lonnie G Speaks the podcast. If you've never met before, I am Lonnie G. I'm a spiritual life coach and intuitive healer for Black women, and I am here to just talk to you. Okay, here on this podcast, we talk about real life shit, how it applies to you, and just epiphanies that I have that I feel should be shared with the world because, you know, what's the good in learning something for yourself if you can't help somebody else with it? I feel like it's just so valuable to learn things from other people. Or sometimes like you hear things from other people that confirm something that you have just come to a resolution about within yourself. Those are my favorite moments. Honestly, those are my literal favorite moments in the world. So I'm trying to do a good job of speaking over the mic. Act like you do a podcast, girl. Hey y'all. So yes, I'm Lonnie G, and I'm so excited to talk to y'all today because one, I have been a little bit out of the loop. I'm going to apologize. I did say when I came back, I'm working on consistency, and something that I was struggling with recently was feeling like, you know, every time I come to record, I'm not feeling necessarily inspired every time. So like some of those times, like I don't record. And I feel like that's not good because I want to build a consistent audience. Like Essence Fest, we're at another year of Essence Fest, and like 2 or 3 years ago, I told myself I'm going to be at Essence one day for something I'm doing. And at the time, it was like doing my healing work and stuff like that. And I'm not necessarily like caught up on it being a specific way. I kept trying to put myself in a box of like how I was going to end up at Essence. And it's very timely that we're talking about this today because something magical happened to me recently. One of the many magical things that happened to me. And it happened because I let go of how it would happen. And so, talking about Essence, one day I will be there as a speaker for something. Don't know how I'm gonna get there or in what context, but know it's gonna be me showing up real raw and authentic. And part of, I know, me working towards, I think, building up my reputation with my audience again is being consistent no matter what. Like, I'm not always going to be inspired. I'm not always going to feel motivated. And that's something that I'm just working to honor and still move forward, right? Like, I don't want to lose my momentum because of a momentary feeling change. So, I did want to just start off by saying that thank you for being patient. Thank you for being with me on this journey. I really am excited because, who knows, next year I might be at Essence and then we're going to be looking back like, look, girl, look what happened because you stayed consistent. Because you never know how things ripple effect in your life. Anyway, so I'm here to first and foremost talk about Beyonce. I went to see Beyonce, y'all, on Sunday, but I'm going to tell y'all how it happened. This started when months ago when she released her tickets. I saw that them prices was crazy, and it was just not in the budget for the type of experience that I wanted at the concert. I personally did not want to be in the nosebleeds. I'm not opposed if the price is reasonable, but they were not reasonable for the nosebleeds. So I decided to wait it out like many folks did and, get a ticket day of. I was going to risk it for the biscuit. I did check in between, like when she first released them and when, the concert actually happened, just to see like what prices was changing, all that stuff, whatever. And I wasn't able to get something that like felt like, yes, this is a yes, go ahead, do this. And so the day of the concert comes. Now, mind you, at this point, I'm like, I'm going to be there. Like, it's getting closer and closer to the day of the concert. I'm going to be there. I don't know how, but like, I'm going to be at that concert. God, I'm going to be there. I want to be there. So I'm going to be there. She going to be in Houston. Like, I haven't seen Beyonce in Houston. I've lived here 5 years. I didn't get to go to Renaissance. Like, but it all worked out. Anyway, so the day of the concert, I had this event to go to, and I was like, well, after the event, I'm gonna figure out what my plan because I'm gonna have to like be on Ticketmaster, ready to go, trying to find a ticket. Because anyway, so I'm doing that. I go to the event, and I'm like, all right, I gotta get ready to go. I gotta go. So I get that inkling and like, okay, it's no BS no more. It's like you gotta leave. So I go, leave. As I'm exiting, there is someone I know and someone I don't know at the door. And someone I know is talking to the person. They needed a ride home. They were getting a lift home. And the person I know was like, no, like they were just having discourse. I heard the person say, oh, I live in this area. And I was like, I could just take you home. Because I was at an event where people I know, like I trust, like the other people there are like trustworthy people as well. Because I don't let anybody in my car. So I was like, yeah, I'll take you home. And they were like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. So as we're walking to my car, walking, they're like, yeah, I gotta go home and get ready for Beyonce. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to go. Like, I'm still trying to get me a ticket for tonight. Like, I'm gonna be there, just letting her, I'm saying, matter of fact, I'm gonna be there, girl, right with you. I just need to find my ticket. She says, I got a ticket. Now, as a person who one of my wounds, one of my traumas is people be just saying stuff to say stuff around me sometimes. And like they be saying stuff and they don't be meaning it. So I was like, that's great for you that you got a ticket. Like I was just like, oh my God, that's crazy. Like, have fun, whatever. Like she got an extra ticket. But I'm thinking it's gonna go to somebody that she know, I don't know this person. So we get in a car and she's like, no, she starts calling somebody. And I'm like, okay, do you girl. She calls the person who she sent the extra ticket to that she had them send it back to her so she could send it to me. And I was like, so how much was it? Because, I know, because she told me she was on the floor. She told me she paid a stack for that. I said, oh, good luck getting that ticket to somebody. Baby, I was planning to be there tonight, but I ain't planning to pull out a stack. It's just not that serious for me. I love you, Beyonce. It's not that serious for me. She was like, no, the person who I was gonna give it to, like, it was a gift for them, so it'll be a gift for you. Do you know how, even in that moment, I still, like, in my mind, I'm like, she fucking with me. She not for real. She just saying that. No, she was dead ass. She opened up Ticketmaster and was waiting for me to give her my information so she could send me the ticket. Even after she sent me the ticket, I'm still like, I'm waiting to celebrate till I get home, log into Ticketmaster, and accept the ticket. It was only at that point that I started screaming. And I had the time of my life. I had the time of my life. It was so amazing. If you haven't gone to the Cowboy Carter tour, go ahead and get your ticket, girl. Or set your intention and show up to see how God will provide that for you. Because I know that the only reason I got that ticket was because I showed up. I set an intention for what I wanted. I did my best to make it happen. And then I just continued to show up. Now, I didn't know where I needed to show up to, but what I do know is that day on the way to that event, I almost did not go because it was like the weather was crazy. I do not like driving in crazy weather, especially in Houston. And I was just not in the mood. I was not in a peoply mood. I really wasn't. So the fact that I went, I pushed through and I went, and then offered somebody I don't know a ride home, very unlike, not very unlike me, but like with the way I was feeling about like life in general, for that to happen, it was just like all I had to do was show up. And so what it meant to me, like, because I did journal about this experience, I've been processing and just giving thanks, deep thanks for this experience. Because to get floor seats for Beyonce's Cowboy Carter tour for free, it's crazy. I did buy extra though. Let's be clear, I'm not trifling. Not saying that if you were to get that, you owe anybody anything, because if they gifted it to you, they gifted it to you. But anyway, I just was like, I'm gonna get a drink. Why not get us a drink? So I think the steps that I took and the approach to this has been very eye-opening for me as it pertains to other things that I want in my life. And I have forgotten how to release the how. Like, sometimes when I really want something, I get caught up in, okay, what do I need to do to make it? How do I need to, I just overthink and overanalyze, because nothing in my mind told me that if you go to this event, you're going to meet somebody, they're going to have a ticket on the floor to see Beyonce. All you got to do is go there. Like, life don't work like that. You just got to show up. You just got to do the things, and then you end up getting what you need and what you want. And I have forgotten that. And I needed to be brought back down to reality with the fact that, like, there's no way, it is impossible for me to miss what's meant for me if I show up. Like if I'm where I need to be, you ever had those serendipitous moments where like you show up somewhere and like something you was needing? It could have been a word from somebody. It could have been like confirmation, whatever. You showed up, that connection, maybe networking. All you had to do was show up and you got what you needed. You didn't have to do no extra stuff. You didn't have to perform. You didn't have to do none of the things. You just had to show up. And you got what you needed. Something that you had asked for that you forgot about, maybe even, or that you think God or spirit or the divine forgot about. Now, all your prayers are heard. All of your expressions and releases is heard. And I think it's just super important for us to remember that. And like I said when I started off this episode, I find it deeply important to share when we learn lessons, because that's community, right? Like I feel like the deep value of community is feeling seen, feeling heard, feeling validated. And it is so cathartic for me to like talk about things that like I had a revelation about, or things that I just feel deeply about, and then to be met with, oh my God, me too. That is healing for me. And I think that is actually a healing act. Like we need we need more of that. And so I hope that you think about more often ways that you can release the how. You can show up, you can decide that you want something, right? And you do what you can, like you do what you know to do. Because there's all these magical, miraculous things that can happen in the meantime that like there's no way you could have formulated that plan to make that happen. So like then there's the art of surrender, right? And then you still have to continue to show up. And something that like my career coach and I were talking about was like showing up doesn't just always look like going physically to be in those buildings or wherever the hell. It also means like emotionally, how are you open? Because what something that she talked about with me, like you gave that girl a ride home. If you had not been open to doing that, you wouldn't have got that ticket. You wouldn't have got that ticket. And so like I said, things that typically I would be uncomfortable with, I'm trying and like opening myself up to, and that brought me a new opportunity, like a beautiful opportunity to see Beyonce, you know? But in other areas of my life, I do find it difficult sometimes, many times, to deal with uncertainty. And when I don't know how something is going to happen, something that I want to happen or something that I'm trying to get happen, when I don't know how that's going to happen, my anxiety is triggered. I am overwhelmed, and specifically for big life things. So I'm going to be very vulnerable with you all today. Okay, are you listening? I'm going to be very vulnerable. Vulnerable. Can't even say the word. At my tender age of 32, I feel for the first time this really deep desire to be in partnership, like to be partnered romantically with someone. Now, this is not to say that before today that I've never had this desire, but it feels different for me now. And I don't know if it's because I'm 32 and my body's like trying to procreate or something. Because, girl, I already told you no. But I feel this like, it's like more on my mind that I want that. And that is something that I cannot just like do. Like anything else in life, I want to start a podcast. I do what I got to do and I'm doing it, You can't make a person like you or want to be a romantic partnership with you. You simply can't. And when it doesn't work out with people, or like in the dating game and you see like, okay, it didn't work out with them, it didn't work out with them, it gets to feel a little helpless sometimes. It gets to feel like, do I even want to do this? Because this is a lot, like to open yourself up to people over and over and over again and like try, especially if that's not something like I've never done, like actively, like, let me try dating. Like that's just not something I've ever done. So it's like, this is super new. And I made the decision that I'm open finally to having a partner, sharing my life with someone. And then I feel like the part that I struggle with, I struggle with is showing up. Like, you know how they say, like, literally, like, you know, you're not gonna meet that person. They're not gonna come to knock on your door. You're gonna have to be out and about in the city, you know? And I do feel like I do go out. Now, the places that I go, are they necessarily places that I would like to meet someone? I don't know. I go out to have like dancing or something like that. I don't necessarily want to meet a dude out like that, even though I don't mind, because I would love to go out with my partner, but I don't need to always go out with them. You know how there are couples who like they just go out, like that's their thing, they go out together. I don't necessarily need that. I like to go out with my homegirls. I like to go out by myself sometimes. I'm getting a little more comfortable with that. I am a Libra. I do like to have my pair, but anyway. And then I'm also struggling with surrendering, like to the process, surrendering, letting go of how this person is going to come into my life, or who I think they should be, you know? Like, cuz you don't know. You don't know. I see so many stories of people like I never would have thought I would have ended up with somebody like this. Now, and I think that sounds bad. If somebody said that about me, I'd be pissed. Not gonna lie to you. But I think it's like because maybe they're just like polar opposites. Like you wouldn't think you would end up with somebody like that, you know? But anyway, I kind of am going on a little bit of a tangent. I just wanted to share that with y'all because I don't know if anybody else is experiencing that. And I think it's just such a life lesson. Like this surrendering or releasing the how is just, you can use it in so many different areas of your life to just like not be so stressed, to not be so caught up, to not feel so overwhelmed with life because life is already hard enough. And I know that as humans, you know, I was reminded today by my career coach, like, we it can feel life threatening to not know how something is going to happen that you like need to happen or want to happen, because like human nature is like if we can predict the outcome, then we feel safer because I know what's going to happen, right? I know how this going to go. And I know in a game of love, there's literally, you don't know. You don't know. So like that's a really hard thing for me, a semi control freak, to accept, to grapple with, and to understand. It's really just the accepting part because like I can understand it, but I don't accept I don't accept it. But I'm on my way there. And so, like I said, I really wanted to share that with you all. I hope that today that you can release the how on something in your life and just trust that it's going to happen. And I don't know how to describe it to you other than when you just experience it for yourself. When you have a knowing that like, oh, that's going to be mine. I don't know how. And I think it's okay that I don't know how. Like really leaning into that, like, I don't know how, but I'm going to show up. If I'm like showing up, like doing things you feel led to do, not ignoring those things because, oh, that's out of the norm for me. That's not something I would typically do. Or I don't know why I'm being called to. Like, you don't need to know why because you made the request known and now you just kind of have to like follow suit. Because I do believe that we are co-creating with God, co-creating with the universe, co-creating with everybody around us. Honestly, like you create your life, and we have to listen to the signs. We have to pay attention to the thing, like what we're being led to do, why we're like, you don't need to ignore the why, just show up. You're being called to share something with somebody, share the thing. You're being called to go somewhere, go there. You're being called to say something, say it. Say it. Throwback Neo. Okay, so yes, that's all I have to say today. I'm not going to ramble, keep you here if there's no more for me to say. I think that is all that I needed to share. And I will see you next week because I am going to be consistent. I am a consistent being and I take consistent action. And that's that on that. Have a great day. I love you. Follow me on Instagram at Coached by Lonnie G. And I don't post on there really at all. I'm sorry. I'm trying. It's a one woman show over here. But yes, that is where you can find me on social media. But I am active on YouTube, which is where I post. If you're listening on Spotify or just like doing like audio only, you can see me talk to you on YouTube. And that is also coached by Lonnie G. So I hope to see you there or somewhere else on the internet or in real life. I love you. Have a great day. Bye.